I'm J.Keerthi of 3rd BA English Literature from Mahalakshmi Women's College of Arts and Science, and I'm here to review the work Three Questions written by Leo Tolstoy. Count Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy, usually referred to in English as Leo Tolstoy, was a Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time. He received nominations for the Nobel Prize in Literature every year from 1902 to 1906 and for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1901, 1902 and 1909. That he never won is a major controversy. Tolstoy was born at Yasnaya Polyana, a family estate southwest of Tula, which is located in south of Moscow. He was the fourth of 5 children of Count Nikolai Ilyich Tolstoy, a veteran of the Patriotic War of 1812, and Princess Mariana Tolstaya. The death of his brother Nikolai in 1860 had an impact on Tolstoy and led him to a desire to marry on 23rd September 1862. Tolstoy married Sofia, who was 16 years his junior and the daughter of a court physician. She was called Sonia, the Russian diminutive of Sofia, by her family and friends. They had 13 children, 8 of whom survived childhood. The Three Questions is a short story written by Russian author Leo Tolstoy as a part of the collection What Men Live By and the Other Tales. The story takes the form of a parable and it concerns a king who wants to find the answer to what he considers the 3 most important questions in life. He consults wise men, promising a large sum to anyone who could answer those questions, but their answers were too diverse and did not satisfy the king. So he goes to a hermit in search of his help. The rest of the story revolves around both of them. 3 questions. This is the story of a king who is in search of answers to 3 philosophical questions in life. He struggles to find the answers to the 3 questions. Those questions are: when is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? And what is the most important thing for him to do? The king sent out messengers throughout his country to find the answers from wise men. He also promises a large sum of money to the person who gives the correct answer. However, all his efforts are in vain because every time he gets a different answer from each person. So, he decides to meet a wise hermit who lives in the woods. 2 incidents happen there, which reveal the answer to the king. When the king reaches the hermit's hut, the hermit seems to be digging the ground in front of his hut. He is old, tired, and breathes heavily. As he keeps digging, the king asks his question to the hermit, but the hermit continues to dig. The king, seeing that the hermit is struggling, decides to help him out. He takes the spade from the hermit's hand and starts digging. After he dug 2 bits, he stopped digging and asked the question. The hermit, without replying, asks him to rest now and that he will continue digging. But the king does not oblige and he continues to dig. Hours passes by and it gets dark. He says he will return home if hermit cannot answer the questions. The hermit sees someone running towards them. They see a bearded man with a bleeding wound in his stomach. The king immediately starts dressing his wounds and carried him to the bed inside the hut. Out of exhaustion from the day's work, the king also sleeps on the floor. The next morning, when he wakes up, the bearded man asks for forgiveness to the king. The puzzled king asked why. The bearded man reveals that he was an enemy of the king who had been defeated by the king once. The king had taken all his property, so he had come to kill the king when he was returning alone to the kingdom. But since the king did not return the previous day, the bearded man has come out of his hiding place and the king's bodyguard had seen and stabbed him with a knife. The bearded man says the king was kind-hearted and saved my life and that he wanted to serve him as his servant. The king forgives the man and promises to return his seized property. He is also happy that he has made friends with the enemy easily. He goes to the hermit and begs for the answers to his questions. He says his questions have already been answered. He asks how. The hermit explains. If the king had not helped him dig the ground, he would have left early, and the enemy, the bearded man, would have stabbed him. But the king did the right thing. By taking pity on the hermit, he decided to help him. That's the most important time that saved the king's life. The most important person at that time to the king was the hermit, and the most important thing to do was to do the hermit some good help. Again, the same thing happened with the bearded man also. The king cared for him the day before. It's the most important time. The king dressed his wounds. The most important thing to do, the king cared for the man in pain. That is the most important person. The hermit goes on to explain that the most important time to do anything is now, because we have the power to act only in the present moment. The most important person is the person who you are with at that particular time. No one knows what will happen in the future or whether we will meet anyone else. The most important business is to do good deeds, because we were sent to this world only for that purpose. The moral of the story is to live in the present moment rather than grumbling about the past and being anxious about tomorrow. We ought to consider every person we meet in the moment as significant beings, whether it is a poor or a rich man. We are born in the world to live good lives, and therefore we ought to do good to others and live in harmony. Thus, the answer to the king's questions are moral lessons that enable happy living. In the short story Three Questions, Leo Tolstoy explores the theme of wisdom, acceptance, kindness, and forgiveness. The story is about a king who wants to know the answer of the three questions so as to get the enlightenment. Hope you all like this video. Thank you for watching.